Hi guys, and welcome to our next English lesson on poetry. Today we're going to look at the poem 15 by the poet William Stafford. So, just before we get started, the poem today looks at the theme of freedom. Looks at, the desire for freedom, how people want to maybe escape and be totally free within the world without responsibilities. So I want you to think, what images might you expect to see in a poem about being free? What kind of pictures do you imagine if you were totally free? Where would you be? What would be around you? How would you get there? All those different images. What would give you freedom? How would you feel? So just take a minute, kind of think about it, and then we'll move on. Okay, so lots of people come up with different ideas. Some people might, like for myself, I'd probably think of being up a mountain, hiking, bright sunlight, expanses, no roads anywhere, no buildings, just kind of nature out there, and not really having to worry about anything else. Other people might be different things. Lots of people might see the sea. Some people might see some people might see books, they might see a library or something like that, escaping into their imagination. Some people might see something to do with sports. I don't know if any of you are interested in athletics. You might see the track and running as giving you a lot of freedom. You escape from things. Some people might see meditation and escaping from the world that way. Some people will see things like cars, offering freedom, or planes, getting away to a different country. Just hundreds, limitless amount of things that images you could see. For you, it's just about having that kind of personal idea. What is it for you that freedom would represent freedom? It's just a good idea to think about these things. So today, what we want to do is we want to read and understand this poem, Freedom, or 15, I should say. So the poem 15. And practice our unseen poetry analysis skills. And you can see those steps to analysis, which we've looked at before there again. So we look at the title, then we look at the plot, the storyline. We look at the themes, what are the main ideas in the poem. We look at the effect, how does the poet want us to react, and are they successful? We look at imagery, what are those big images that stand out in the poem? And we then look at some other techniques, things like alliteration, rhyme, personification, juxtaposition, all those different types of techniques to look at. So just to start, we're just going to look at the poem first of all. South of the bridge on 17th, I found back of the willows one summer day a motorcycle with engine running as it lay on its side, ticking over slowly in the high grass. I was 15. I admired all that pulsing gleam, the shiny flanks, the demure headlights fringed where it lay. I led it gently to the road and stood with that companion, ready and friendly. I was 15. We could find the end of a road, meet the sky on out 17th. I thought about hills, and patting the handle got back a confident opinion. On the bridge we indulged a forward feeling, a tremble. I was 15. Thinking, back farther in the grass I found the owner, just coming to, where he had flipped over the rail. He had blood on his hand, was pale. I helped him walk to his machine. He ran his hand over it, called me a good man, roared away. I stood there, 15. So I'm going to suggest, go back and read through that yourselves again there once or twice. It's important with these poems to think about them. We've gotten the main images there, but we might be a bit more emotion we can get through it. There's little ideas we might need to pick up. So I'm going to suggest pause here before you go into analysis. Read that 2 or 3 more times. Take a break in between the readings and think about it, and just appreciate it before we go into analysis into in more detail. So the first question I want to ask you then, after you've read it a few times, is did you enjoy the poem, and what did you like or dislike about it? Okay, now I'm not going to ask you to write down the answer to that. I think it's just good for you to think about yourself. There should be something in every poem that each of us can find. Maybe it's just a little image, maybe it's just a line, maybe it's just one little phrase in there that you think, oh, that's nice, that's a good phrase, or oh, I like that image, or oh, I can relate to this. Okay, there's a lot in this poem that you might find that sticks out to you. For myself, I love that image in the third stanza. I thought about the hills. That's just the piece that really stands out to me in this poem. There's something there that I connect with. For other people, it may be the motorcycle itself. You may see the repetition of iOS 15. You may see the person roaring away. All of those kind of images might stand out to you, okay? So just think about it. What is it? It's great to be able to find a personal connection to a poem, and it really helps us to kind of understand the poem in more detail when we get that. So, time to go into a bit of analysis then, once you've thought about the poem a little bit. So this is the main task for today, is to answer each of these questions along the side. So the title of the poem 15, what does the title of this poem suggest? I'm looking for one full sentence, one or two full sentences for that answer. And question 2 is talking about plot, so tell the story of the poem in your own words. Again, 2 to 3 full sentences telling the story. Think about the whole story there, and think about what's important within the story. Okay, what does the poet focus on? Alright, so tell me the real meaning of the story in your own words. We've mentioned freedom already, but what other themes are in the poem? Sorry, that's a very poorly structured question there. But what are the themes within this poem? Don't just say freedom. There's more to it than that. Okay, so look in there a bit more deeply. Again, 2 full sentences there. What emotion do you think the poet wants us to feel? Now here, if we're in a exam situation or in a situation where we're looking to do full analysis, I would be asking for something like a PE paragraph. Today, I'm not looking for that. I'm just looking for your ideas today. I'm just looking for you to think about the poem today. Okay, so you don't need to write full PEs today. Okay, you don't need to go into that level of analytical writing. That's not what we're looking at today. We're just looking at getting your ideas across today. So what emotion do you think the poet wants us to feel? Tell me the emotions. It may be good to point out here where you're getting that emotion from. Okay, so I might say, oh, the emotion of calm comes across to me, and that is in the hills, or I might say the emotion of excitement or anticipation or whatever it is. Okay, just tell me this is where it comes from. Imagery, what are the main images you can find? Obviously, there's one that really stands out. There's a few other images in there as well. What are the different images you can see? And then 2 poetic techniques in this poem. So we've already talked about the imagery, 2 other techniques. Just a good idea to be able to practice finding those different techniques. So 2 to 3 sentences for each of those questions, please. Full sentences, okay? And that's the main task today. And when you've got those written, finished writing the answer to those questions, that's pretty much the end for our lesson today. On Friday, we will look at this together in a little bit of detail, okay? But it's great to have most of this bulk of the work done beforehand, okay? So good luck with the work, guys. Let me know if you have any questions by email, and I'll see you on Friday for our live lesson.